So in today's class, as we are going to discuss about the multiplexing, frequency division multiplexing, time division multiplexing, their advantage, disadvantage, and difference between time division multiplexing and frequency division multiplexing. So the learning outcomes of the first lecture was idea of multiplexing, its necessity, types of multiplexing techniques, frequency division multiplexing, applications of FDM, and advantage and disadvantage. So as we have learned that multiplexing is a channel sharing concept. So in communication engineering we have a frequency spectrum, and this total frequency spectrum is divided into some logical channel or frequency band. Then this band of frequencies are shared to the user. Example: satellite communication, fiber optic cable, wires, cables. These are the physical parameter of the channels through which we share our information. So the multiplexed signal or the composite signal is shared with the help of your channel, and this channel may be your wire, can be fiber optic cable or satellite, and the entire process can be done with a device known as mux or multiplexer. And the main function of this device, means multiplexer, is to combine the signals. So n number of input signals are combined to form a composite signal. So in channel, so channels are the physical medium through which we can communicate, and these channels can be your wire, fiber optic cable. These wire, fiber optic cables are generally used for your short distance of communication. So the certain capacities are measured in your channel. So these parameters are your measured in bytes, bandwidth in hertz, and also data rate, bits per second. So see, in frequency division multiplexing, so we divide the total frequency bandwidth or total bandwidth into several logical band or several logical non-overlapping frequency band. So 1, 2, 3, 4, here four input signals are there, and at the output also there are 4 signals. So what is the basic principle of the mux? Actually this mux selects the input channel which frequency band is going to transmit. So let for the input signal, the frequency of the modulating signal is FM1, modulating frequency 1, it has the modulating frequency 2, it has modulating frequency 3, and the fourth channel has modulating frequency 4. And also you can assume that the carrier frequency that you will be used for your modulation is FC1, here for your FC2, FC3 and FC4. So 4 different message signals are there and 4 different modulating frequencies are there, and they have different frequency. So these signals will be combined, these signals will be modulated with the help of your modulator. After the modulator there will be a mux, and this mux will select the channel, and it divides the total frequency spectrum into some frequency band. These bands are selected now with the help of your multiplexer, and again the demultiplexer will deselect the frequency band. Suppose if we want to transmit our communication signals with frequency band 1, then we will choose the multiplexer as 1. We have the frequency band in frequency band 2, then we will choose the multiplexer with the channel 2. So actually the multiplexer is basically known as a selector, or we can say channel selector, through which channel we are communicating. So suppose in the air we have a lot of channels, and if first channel is not available, if the first channel is not available here, then we have to use the second channel. So for second channel, what we have to change? We have to change the corresponding carrier frequency. As the modulating frequency are constant, so we cannot change the modulating frequency, we can change only the carrier frequency, and the same carrier frequency FC2 will be used here for the demodulation purpose. And the practical example of multiplexing and also basically your frequency division multiplexing is radio and television broadcasting. When we use our mobile phone to listen the FM channels, first of all we search the number of channels. So after searching we get a lot of channels, or we get a lot of informations like 92.8 or 104 or 108.6 megahertz. So suppose we have received the three corresponding frequency channels. So when we choose one channel, then we get some noise, means the channel is not clear, and also we are getting the noise from the surrounding channels, means the frequency of this channel is not clear and the frequency spectrum is too weak to receive the signal. So that time we change to the next channel. If the channel is clear, then we are free with it and we easily listen to the FM station whatever there is going on. And sometimes it happens when we are traveling by bus or train and listening FM, then due to some distance or whenever we are traveling from one point to another point, that time the frequency changes, and when the frequency changes, then the signals become distorted, and also the frequency from the next near about stations are trying to receive. So that is the frequency division multiplexing. And another one example is your cable television. So in cable television we have a single cable wire at our home. So using this cable wire we can choose, with the help of your set-top box, we can choose n number of channels. Suppose our cable operator provides 100 number of channels or 150 number of channels. So this 150 number of channels are coming through a single cable. So with the help of cable wire we are getting 150 number of channels. So this is another best example of your multiplex. Multiple number of signals are coming through a single physical medium, and the frequency spectrums are divided, or the total bandwidth, that is your 20 megahertz, is divided among some frequency band, and these bands are selected with the remote key of your set tops or set top box. So we have two types of multiplexing basically, frequency division multiplexing and time division multiplexing. But wavelength division multiplexing is same as frequency division multiplexing, in where frequency division multiplexing we use frequency of the signal, and in wavelength division multiplexing we use the wavelength of the light. So in frequency division multiplexing we use signal, analog signal, and in frequency division wavelength division multiplexing we use the light. The information is carried with the help of light source. The message is your analog and your carrier or carrier signal is your pulse type, so we can say that is our analog modulation technique. Because in analog modulation we have two types of carrier, one is your continuous wave modulation, another one is your pulse wave modulation. But digital modulation is another thing. If we have the message signal in digital and our carrier signal is in pulse, so we can say that is our digital communication technique. So TDM can be used with the help of your analog system as well as can be with your digital system. Digital system means in case of your computer, when we use computers we will use TDM system. If we apply the TDM systems in case of our analog signal, then it will become your TDM also with analog signal. So in code division multiple access, this is also a different scheme of your multiplexing technique. There is CDMA, CA, CDMA, CD means code division multiple access, collision detection, collision avoidance, means a lot of things are there in code division multiple access, and you will learn this CDMA in your computer network. And in this discussion and in our class communication, we will discuss about frequency division multiplexing as well as your time division multiplexing. So this multiplexers are basically analog multiplexer and digital multiplexer. Analog multiplexer is basically as two types, frequency division multiplexing and wavelength division multiplexing. Also the time division multiplexing is two types, one is your synchronous, another one is your asynchronous. So we will discuss about here only three types of techniques, that is your frequency division multiplexing. Another one is your synchronous TDM, and third one is your asynchronous TDM. So frequency division multiplexing is used by telephone companies in 20th century, and this was came into the existence of Indian market in the year of 1973 to 1977. And multiplexing, that time multiplexing done with the help of your coaxial cable. For small distance, low cost cables were utilized for different systems such as Bell system, K and N carrier. However, they don't let huge bandwidth. So in case of your BSNL land phone, before 20 years ago, so that time we use also frequency division multiplexing. So in double sideband suppressed carrier we have 12 number of subscriber. Then in single sideband suppressed carrier SSBSC there are 24 number of subscriber will be there. So this analog multiplexing technique used to unite analog signals, and basically the FDM, the total frequency spectrum or total bandwidth, is divided into some logical channel, and these logical channels are basically known as your frequency band, and where each frequency band have different frequency and different bandwidth. So in this diagram also, that is the same diagram. So here we have different types of message signals. So these are the modulating signal or your baseband signal. So let the message signal is your M1, and here M2, and the third message signal is M3, and these three message signals are in the range of your hertz, 2 kilohertz, because they are your audio signal. These audio signals, and these audio signals lie in between 3 hertz to 30 kilohertz. So this is the range of your audio signal, and from the range of 30 kilohertz to all over the up to gigahertz, all of the radio frequency signal. So we have audio frequency and another type of radio frequency, and in your, and as these frequencies are very low and they are suspected to affected by noise, so we have to multiply the signal with high frequency carrier, and these high frequency carriers are in the range of your megahertz. So when the different signals are multiplied with a different carrier, high frequency carriers, actually pilot carriers, if the first one is multiplied with your 300 megahertz carrier, then the will be your 450 megahertz carrier, and the remaining will be your 600 megahertz carrier. So this depends upon you what will be the spacing of the carrier frequency. So now these three message signals, M1 will be multiplied with your 300 hertz, M2 will be multiplied with your 450 hertz, 450 megahertz, and M3 will be multiplied with 600 megahertz. So when these three signals are multiplied with their corresponding carrier frequency, then they will produce different modulated signal, and this one is let x1t for your first signal, x2t for your second signal, and x3t for your third. Now these three signals are joined, these three signals are summed with the help of your multiplexer or mux. So when the signals are combined, then they are dividing into some physical frequency band. So let this is one frequency band, second frequency band, and third frequency band. So in the first frequency band, let we have the frequency from 0 hertz to up to 320 megahertz, and it will be up to your from 320 megahertz to up to it can be your 470 megahertz, and it can be your 620 megahertz. So the different frequency band will be there. So in this different frequency band, they will be shared through the single communication channel, and at the output there will be different low band pass filters. These filters are the band pass filter BPF, and in these band pass filters there are two cutoff frequency. One is your FCO1 and another one is your FC2, and two cutoff frequencies are used to select the range of the frequency. As in the first case we have up to 320, and in the second case up to 270, means 321 to 470, and there will be your 490 to your 620 megahertz. So there are different cutoff frequencies. So in this case, that the cutoff frequencies are two cutoff frequencies, 321 megahertz and another will be your 470, and there will be your 490 megahertz to your 620 megahertz. So different cutoff frequencies will be used here. So as this cutoff frequency will be used to select or divide the signals. Then again we will get the composite signal, we will get the different modulated signal, and this different modulated signal will be demodulated with the same amount of carrier. Here the carrier was your 300 megahertz, as in our example this carrier was your 300 megahertz, and the second one was your 450 megahertz, and third one is your 600 megahertz. So the same carrier frequency will be used for your demodulation, and at the output we will get our message signals M1, M2 and M3. In this point, when the first spectrum ends, let that one is your 90 megahertz, and another signal that begins with 88 megahertz in this point. So what happens when we are listening up to 89 megahertz or 90 megahertz or 91 megahertz, then what happens? The spectrum of this signal and also the second signal both are coming through the mobile phone or FM radio. So when these two signals are coming, then we get some noise, means the any of the channel is not properly utilized. So this type of overlapping is known as your crosstalk in communication. So how can we avoid the overlapping? So we can separate the signals with a band known as your guard band. So what is guard band? So guard band is unused frequency spectrum which does not carry any information, is just used to avoid overlapping of the spectrum. So here see, this is the first spectrum, second spectrum and third spectrum, and these three spectrums are combined here, F1, F2 and F3. So in these three spectrums are divided with a guard band, and this guard band is used to avoid overlapping of the corresponding signal. So if we say if we take the again example of FM, frequency modulation radio, then we are listening 98 megahertz, and there is also another channel that will begin from 101 megahertz. So 98 megahertz and 101 megahertz means there is a difference of 1.9 megahertz frequency band, and this frequency band is totally separate. So this is one example. So we have total frequency spectrum of 540 kilohertz, and this 540 kilohertz spectrum is divided among 5 users. So that is person 1, message 1, M1 and M2, M3, M4, M5. These 5 users have same frequency, that is 100 kilohertz. So if we multiply them, 100 kilohertz multiply by 5 number of channels, so it becomes 500 megahertz. So we can write 100 kilohertz multiply by 5 number of users, so it becomes your 500 kilohertz. But in this 500 kilohertz, but frequency spectrum is total 40 kilohertz. Then each of the guard band of 10 kilohertz has been used here to avoid the overlapping of the signal. So 4 guard bands are there. So guard band, we have 4 guard bands are there. So these 4 guard bands will be added together, and this 4 guard band of 10 kilohertz means plus 10 kilohertz multiply by 4, so that will be your 540 kilohertz plus 40 means that will be total your 540 kilohertz. So that is the total utilization of the bandwidth. But there is one disadvantage, that we cannot utilize the total bandwidth, because in 540 kilohertz we have only the spectrum of 500 kilohertz. We have the information of 500 kilohertz. So there is a loss of 40 kilohertz signal. So that is the disadvantage of your frequency division multiplexing. So the example of your FM. So this FM signals works with the very high frequency signals, and they lies in the range of megahertz region from 30 megahertz to 300 megahertz. And this 30 megahertz to 300 megahertz region is basically known as your very high frequency, and the frequency spectrum is divided into several classification like low frequency, high frequency, very high frequency, ultra high frequency. So these frequency bands are used, but in FM there are total 3 bands are there. So there are 3 number of bands allocations are there around the globe. And what are the 3 bands? That is first band that is used your 65.8 to 74 megahertz, that is mainly used for your European country, and this is not used in our India, that is for your European country. Another one frequency spectrum is there, that is 76 to 90 megahertz, and this range of frequency band is used in Japan, not in India. But in India uses a standard band of frequency, and this standard band of frequency is used around the world, around the globe, and this range of frequency is 87.5 megahertz to 108 megahertz. So when we talk about our FM radio or frequency modulated radio, at that time we have a range of frequency from 88 megahertz or 87.8 megahertz or 87.5 megahertz to 108 megahertz, and it providing an overall bandwidth of 20 megahertz. So 20.2 megahertz. So see how the 20.2 megahertz difference comes. This 20.2 megahertz comes with a difference of 108 megahertz minus 87. So in FDM we use 3 different separation. For FM AM broadcasting we use 10 kilohertz apart signals. In case of your FM we use generally 200 kilohertz apart signal or 20 kilohertz, and in long distance communication we use generally 4 kilohertz. But this range of frequencies are not constant, that is the minimum range of frequency. To get maximum utilization of the bandwidth, we can use the guard band, we can use a large spacing of guard band, but that is unutilization of the frequency spectrum. So advantage and disadvantage. So advantage is that a multiple number of channels can be shared through a single medium, and the total frequency band is divided into some frequency band. And the main disadvantage is that the requirement of the guard band, or it utilizes the guard band that has no information. So in the next lecture we discuss about your time division multiplexing, and in time division multiplexing the basic difference is that there is analog as well as digital, and the main difference of digital multiplexing or in case of your TDM multiplexing is that the presence of the commutator. So this commutator is a rotary switch that rotates your anti-clockwise direction in your modulator section and clockwise direction in your demodulator section. This is your sending section or modulator section, and this one is your for demodulator section. So a rotary switch is a rotating switch that takes the signal with a particular channel interval. So not going to the again discussion of the wavelength division multiplexing, just I am going to discuss about only the TDM, means your difference between your TDM and synchronous TDM and asynchronous TDM. And in time division multiplexing, both are analog and digital techniques, and they are used for your high speed channel utilization. And see here we have 2 message signals there. So the sampling, when we perform the sampling of the message signals of message 1, we have 2 different that one is your message 1 and message 2. So when we sample the signals, so it gets the 2 successive pulse, that is pulse 1 and pulse 2, with a bit duration of TS. The TS means time interval, sampling interval will be same. So the interval between the 2 successive sample is 2s. So when the signals are combining, when we are adding these 2 signals, then it resultant signal becomes here. And there is also the difference between the two successive channel is also TS, sampling interval. And as there is also the difference between the two successive samples is, you can say, TS. So in between these two we have how many number of channels are there? As we have two number of message signals are there, so the spacing between the two successive channels will become the half. So T will be TS, means sampling time divided by 2, as here we have two number of channels. Because if we have n number of channels, then it becomes your TS by n. This sampling interval will become TS by n. So the sample distance between the time interval will become T equals to TS by n, where n is the number of signals and TS is the sampling interval, and for each of the signals. So here we have one important term, that is signaling rate. Signaling rate means number of bits per second is known as your signaling rate. So signaling rate of a TDM system is defined as the number of pulse transmitted per second or number of bits transmitted per second. So that is known as your signaling rate. So the unit of signaling rate is number of bits per second. So that is bits per second. So signaling rate can be bits, means it can be your kilobits, megabits or megabytes, and here it follows the Nyquist criteria for your sampling. And Nyquist criteria is one important criteria to avoid the aliasing effect. Aliasing means overlapping of the signals, and that is Fs, means the frequency, sampling frequency will be greater than equals to twice Fm, means the sampling frequency will be at least twice the multiplication of the modulating frequency or audio frequency. And this one is very important, as the number of pulse requirement in this operation is R equals to NFS. So that is your number of pulse. So R is known as your sampling rate, and N is your number of signals, and Fs is your sampling frequency. So R equals to NFS, that is your number of pulse multiplied by sampling frequency. And as we have R equals to NFS, so we can say Fs equals to twice Fn. So we put the value of Fs equals to twice Fm here. So, and this is the basic formula, R equals to NFS. Put the value of Fs equals to twice Fm here. So it becomes NFm, and it greater than equals to twice Fm. So it will be your greater than equals to, so the rate, signaling rate will be greater than equals to twice NFm pulse per second when we talk about our message signal. And when we talk about our sampling frequency, then we put this equation, R equals to NFS. So they are related to each other, no problem is there, because the sampling frequency and your number of pulse, but it is more important to use the modulating signal, as we have modulating signal because our message signals are there. So we will use generally this formula rather than the above. So if we put the value bandwidth, minimum bandwidth equals to signaling rate divided by 2. So the bandwidth, actually it has two sides. Bandwidth is actually known as your two-side spectrum. So bandwidth is the upper frequency spectrum and lower frequency spectrum. So signaling rate will be just half, bandwidth will be just half of the signaling rate. So if we divide the formula by 2, so it will become, we will divide the formula by 2, so it will become NFM. So NFM is the bandwidth of the TDM system. So not going to discuss about the numericals, so I will provide you the numericals in your notes. And we have here two types of TDM system. One is your synchronous, another one is your asynchronous. So in synchronous TDM, there is a difference between synchronous and asynchronous TDM is that in synchronous TDM there are all time frames are of same duration. So the time frame is T, and the second time's duration is T, and the third frame has the time duration T. So all the signals have same duration, and all the bit positions and all the duration of the bits are also same in case of your synchronous TDM. And the main problem of this synchronous TDM is that if any of the frame or if any of the symbol is not present here, so here one symbol is not present, another one symbol is also not present. So if no symbol is present there, so there is unutilization of the frame. So that is also one disadvantage of the synchronous TDM. So to overcome this synchronous TDM, we have the asynchronous TDM. So in asynchronous TDM, we don't need a general clock pulse, and rather than if any channel or if any of the symbols have no information, then we keep the channel with next successive symbols. So here first see A1, B1, then it will be a blank space. But in case of your in case of your total bit pattern, there is no blank space is there. So A1, B1, and the blank space will be replaced by the next successive bit. So here A1, B1, and D1 is there. Again for A2, for the second symbol A2, next two bit symbols are not there, and the next one is D2. So we can say the bit pattern will be A2 and D2. In the third case, A3, B2, and C1 will be there, and there is also a blank space, but blank space has not been utilized here. So the difference between the TDM and FDM is that multiplexer allocates the same time slot for your synchronous TDM, and in asynchronous TDM the multiplexer does not allocate the same time slot, and the number of slots per frame are equal, but in case of your asynchronous, number of slots per frame are not equal, and there is no guarantee that full capacity link is used, but there is a guarantee that full capacity link will be used. And the difference, last but not the least of this today's discussion, the difference between the frequency division multiplexing and time division multiplexing. So we can say frequency division multiplexing means the frequency band is divided and the bandwidth of the frequency is divided into some physical channel, and in time division multiplexing the total time frame is divided and total time slot is divided among the users. And in frequency division multiplexing we require a guard band. Also in time division multiplexing the synchronization pulse is required, but in frequency division multiplexing there is a problem of crosstalk, and in TDM there is a problem of inter-symbol interference. And basically, as we have told, the applications of multiplexing is basically in our telephony, in FM, in cable television, in satellite communication, in analog broadcasting, in video broadcasting, in digital broadcasting. So these are the basically examples of multiplexing. So thank you all.